But the first thing we're going to cover is Allan Lichtman's presidential prediction. It came out literally today, and it was pretty iffy. It actually ended up being even more left than what we even thought it would have been. Now, my analysis was essentially correct in terms of where the keys could have gone, except there is a little bit of a problem. He managed to make his final prediction even more blue, even more left-leaning than what I even thought it would have been, which I think is crazy. I think that's honestly pretty insane. And the issue with this is he's got no primary contest true. Even yesterday, I kind of did the keys, sort of in the benefit of the doubt. I mean, there is social unrest. The no primary contest key seems a little illegitimate because the delegates were not chosen by any said voter to vote for Kamala Harris. And so I feel like it's a little disingenuous to say that there was no primary contest when no voter voted for Kamala to be the nominee. None of the voters voted for her by over 75% for her to get that many of the delegates. The delegates kind of just decided who they wanted to be the nominee. And so I think that kind of invalidates that key. The economy keys are interesting because there's a certain economic index indicator that was like at 72% disapproval back in 1992 when H. Bush was the incumbent. He flipped the key from true to false because of how the approval or disapproval of the economy was so high with that metric. And now that same metric is at 67%, but he won't flip the economy keys for Donald Trump, which really doesn't make any sense because if he was doing it before, he should probably end up doing it right now. I don't understand why he wouldn't be able to do it right now. And it doesn't make sense why he decided to do that. Major policy change, that one's a little bit subjective. There technically has been, but the wrong track of the nation has gone up ever since then. And so I don't really think that should politically benefit the incumbent party, but I digress. And so this is the one that's the weirdest to me. He has key 11 as major foreign military success as true. Joe Biden has not had a success in foreign policy at all. And it doesn't make any sense because he's saying that the major foreign/military success key is now true because now Kamala Harris doesn't have the same burden as Biden, though, even though this is supposed to measure the incumbent party's performance in the White House. Biden is the president, not Kamala Harris. And it doesn't make any sense how key 10 could be true with no, or key 10 could be false with no foreign/military failure. And it's false, indicating that there was a failure, but then major foreign/military success was true at the same time. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. So to me, this just seems a little flawed. I've gone back and looked at his keys. He's gotten pretty lucky in some of the presidential elections. 2016, he got pretty lucky. I mean, he had the no third party key. He had that one true, but arguably the third party candidates were the reason why Donald Trump basically won that election. They were able to kind of give, a little bit of a push to Donald Trump by taking away votes from Clinton. And so that really became sort of a weird thing. And then, of course, he flipped this key in the 90s from true to false for H. Bush when the economy metric wasn't good for public perception. But even though the same exact metric is now below like 5 points, he still won't flip the key. And usually the average of when an incumbent party loses, the score is like about 84. And the incumbent party, whenever they win, the average score is like above 90. And it's nowhere near 90 or even 84. So it's like, it's a little strange when it comes to the keys. But overall, Allan Lichtman did predict Kamala Harris. It's definitely possible. Again, his system's been right a lot of the time, not 100% of the time like they claim. But in 2000, the model was a popular vote predictor, right? And so Al Gore narrowly won the popular vote, and so he was able to kind of take credit for that, but he didn't predict the electoral college winner. So he said, okay, now I'm going to predict the electoral college winner instead of the popular vote winner, which doesn't really make sense how he could change it like that, because he shouldn't be changing the way he does his keys for that. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And so the problem with that is now it's okay, it's an electoral college predictor, but then in 2016 he said not only was Trump going to win the electoral college, he also said Trump was going to win the popular vote, and Trump didn't win the popular vote. So really, he could have only gotten it wrong in 2000 or gotten it wrong in 2016, depending on whether you view the model as an electoral college predictor or as a popular vote predictor. And a lot of people don't talk about the fact he predicted Trump winning the popular vote in 16. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for that to be the case. And so there's a little bit of an oxymoron there. So overall, I think this year his analysis has been flawed. They trotted him around after the debate when Biden just imploded on himself. He's been doing a bunch of media, he's been doing a whole media tour on CNN and a bunch of other places. He's been live streaming like almost every other day. He was not doing this in 2020 and 2016, and he only started popping up a lot once the debate with Biden happened. So pretty much right now, I'm going to say that this is flawed. Maybe it ages well, maybe it doesn't, but I do think that this is a little bit of a problem, to be honest. I think that his analysis this year is going to be flawed.